friends, you're listening to the Shattered Ceilings podcast with your hosts Stephanie and Adriana. We're here to discuss the importance of mental health from the perspective of two first-generation immigrants. Join in weekly as we dive into important topics such as relationships, parenting, and cultural barriers. Here, we get real and candid as we explore what disrupting the status quo looks like for each of us. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. We are on episode 2, and it's all about friendships. So what a better way to start with my sister, who obviously is a friend and built-in friend. Best friend.
Built-in best friend.
Built-in best friend, there you go. And then one of my best friends. Before you guys introduce yourselves, I just want to say what the topic will be about. Obviously, it's friendships. It's how they evolve through our life. Sometimes how we feel stuck in them, how to know when they're toxic, what to do when you're outgrowing a friendship, and all of that fun stuff. So whoever wants to introduce themselves first.
I'm Michelle. I'm her sister, like I said, built-in best friend. You're her best friend too, but it's a different type of best friend. I have to say more about myself.
It's up to you.
I'm like, wait, am I her older or little sister?
I love having sisters on this show, by the way.
It's fun. I'm her older sister, but sometimes I feel like her younger sister. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids, 2 of my own, a stepson. What do I like to do?
Gym.
I like to gym. I have hobbies, flowers, makeup. I love makeup. There's a lot more, but yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, my name's Alice. I am the best friend by choice, which is different. I am married and I have a beautiful daughter named Isla, and I just gave birth to her 4 months
She's
ago.
so cute.
What else? I feel like I don't have hobbies.
Not yet. It's
Not yet. I'm still trying to re-figure out myself.
The time will come.
It's like
As
I
a
knew
mom,
who I
you have to,
was.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am. It's like
Yeah.
the adjustment
Yeah,
is
we're always
still
evolving
going.
as moms. Like, wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel we're always learning, but I feel like we're the older ones where we're like, you'll get there.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been 4 years for me, and I'm still like, okay.
I know.
I think I know.
Every time I say something, you're like, oh, that happened to me.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Just wait.
It's a ride. for
And
sure.
that's why friendships are so important.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it today, guys. So
Mommy friends. That's a
Yes.
big thing I wanted to touch on too.
for sure, I
The
think
importance of that.
I love that, and definitely I think that's something we need to get into because a lot of our viewers are moms, and this topic we just wanted to kind of give you guys the background info. It's always been a runner-up in all the polls that we've done on social media. Literally, it's always the number 2 chosen topic, and I feel like it's because one, our demographic is mainly female. It's 60% female, 40% male, and then also the main age demographic is millennial, so late 20s, which I feel like we're all kind of going through the same thing.
We'll have the same struggles for
Yes.
the most part, I feel like.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like we're in this weird transition in our adulthood. I think in our friendships around us, where we don't have those teenage friendships maybe, but we're now going into adult friendships. Our circles are getting smaller.
Yeah.
Quality over quantity. And a lot of us maybe feel like we're grieving some of those teen friendships that we had. Maybe we're lonely, maybe confused or isolated, especially as moms. And I love that you brought that up. So I don't know if you girls can relate. Do you guys feel that shift in your friendships now, in your later 20s?
I think so, especially the older you get, especially in our community. It's we all know each other. We're all friends with each other. Even if we don't fully click, we just make it work just because you don't want to cause anything.
Everyone
And you end up having so many, it's so many friends, but are you really friends? And then the older you get, you're I don't have the energy for this. And and then you start to realize these people don't really have my best interest. And little by little, you just kind of drift away. You get busy, marriage, priorities change, kids. And then you're wait, do I have friends?
100%. Yep.
And then you're maybe I should have friends. Okay, maybe it's better that I don't just stay in a
back and
bubble.
forth,
Yeah, because sometimes it is easy to go in a bubble. I feel like I went through that when I first got married, just more because work was really busy. It was something me and my husband did together, and it took over our lives. And then after a year or two, we're oh, I need to
Get out and socialize.
I don't know how to do that anymore. I was around old people a lot.
I think I told you that you need friends.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
And the way that it happened was kind of interesting because I started doing my own thing. I started doing eyelash extensions, and oh my gosh, it was like, I went from just talking to old people to talking to so many girls. I swear, I was like their therapist for a while. Like, I'd be doing their eyelashes, it'd be like 2 hours of just like talking, and I was like, wow, this feels good. Like, I haven't done this in a while. And that's like when things kind of picked up for me again, and I learned the importance of like, okay, quality over quantity. I don't need a million friends, but it is nice to know that there's
couple
those few that I could really lean on.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when you went through that time, obviously we were friends because we're sisters. We would hang out. And then I'm like, okay, I have to leave. I'm going to go hang out with friends. And you're like,
and I'm like, wait.
You're like, I thought I was your friend. But you're just like, but like, I am your sister. And I'm like, oh my God, don't make me choose. Like, I can have both. And that's like, obviously before I was married. And I was like, maybe you need friends. Like, other than me, it was
definitely
a lot. But obviously.
And I feel like I was always like such a mother kind of role to you. Like, I went through this. You don't need those friends. Trust me. I'm like, she'll know in a little bit that I'm like, she'll want the best friend. She'll want she'll need me as a best friend.
That's something we always agreed on it.
Yeah. Oh, and the cool thing is like, so like we're all friends, and like you guys were friends, but like we knew each other because we were sisters. And I would always tell her from the beginning, Alice is a real one. I always felt that. And like we didn't really know each other, but like we just like clicked on so many ways, and that's how our friendship grew. Cause like the more we got to know each other, we were just like so similar in so many ways, and like things about her, like, oh, she's dating this guy. We don't like him. And I'm like, oh my God, finally a friend that like is on the same page with me. Like, we really want the best for her. So it's nice when there's like a friend who truly wants the best for you and has like your best intentions.
Yeah. Do you agree, Alice? Do you feel like you get to that point in your adulthood?
Yeah, but I also have like a hard time letting go because I do value loyalty.
Wow. We're going to talk about that.
And so like, for me, like now that I see that I'm shifting to like a mom and you really don't have time, it's hard for me to let go of like my past friends. Cause like I know they were a season, but we've gone through so much like secrets and time together, like more than I spent with my own family. And so to let them go is something
you feel like you're betraying them.
Yeah, like it's hard.
It is hard. So I went through that too.
That's what I wanted to ask. What do you girls feel like you value most in a friendship? So you hit on loyalty.
Loyalty.
Okay.
I would say honesty. When someone can't be like real with me, I'm like, are we even friends then? Because if you can't even tell me if you have a feeling about something or if I upset you, like just let's be honest with each other, you know?
Yeah.
And not that like it's a fake friend if they're not honest, because I know there's like more to it. Like if they're like afraid to say something, but for the most part, honesty is like, and that's one reason we click so much, because you're always so honest.
Because I have 6 sisters.
You just like say it, you just say how it is. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I needed to hear that.
Yeah, but that's also hard to come by in the Romanian community, so that's probably why you value it a lot.
I feel like a lot of times people weren't honest just because in our community there's so many people, so many friends that like it was almost like a hassle to even truly be honest. Because if everyone was honest in such a big friend circle, it'd be like chaos, drama. Like it's just too much. So like when your circle is tighter, you have like a true bond, true honesty. Like you can just be real with each other because you know they have like your best interests and all that. So yeah, honesty I would say is a big one.
That's a good
one. And like just clicking, like that's a big one. And I will say this kind of has to go with like childhood friendships and whatever. Like someone that you clicked with before, you're not always going to click with because you change, they change. Seasons in life. And it doesn't mean like you're a bad person or they're a bad person or like, it's just, you know, we change seasons and
you can
it's hard to let go of that because like you said, the memories, like, the secrets, like all this stuff that you guys went through. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's okay to let go and start new things too.
100%.
Yeah.
Adriana, what do you think? What do you value most in a friendship?
That's a good question. I feel like I can't just pick one.
I know there's a lot of qualities.
Yeah, but like you're like I have a list.
Shoot, you're picky.
Friends are. I mean, everyone obviously loves their friends, but like kind of how Alice brought it up. Like family you're born into and you're like, okay, but friends you really choose. And that's a beautiful thing because you're like choosing you back. And especially with your girls, it's different like than your husband and or like when you're with your boyfriends because those don't last. Only the true one. So I feel like friends meant a lot to me because I knew that they were putting in the effort and they actually wanted to be around me. And there was a time too where I was more around my friends than my family. And I remember my family's like, family will always be there for you. But I'm like,
it is true though.
It is true. But I'm
not
like,
all of us.
But I was like, my friends are choosing me and like the real ones that are like always there through thick and thin. Like that's a beautiful thing to me. So it's, I don't know, it's hard to pick one. I love all my friends and it's hard because I call a lot of people my best friends and James is like, you can't have that many best friends. But I'm like,
so which one? You'll see when you become a mom.
I know, but they're so special. And I think I'm, again, almost a mom. So I kind of want to talk about like before being a mom, your friendships, because I hold on to like so many different memories. And like when I see someone, I just remember like all our times together. So it's a bittersweet thing of like knowing things are changing, but it's not a negative thing. You're just, it's like a bittersweet like ending.
Yeah,
so
I get it. And I think that's kind of like a passage that we all have to go through is like being okay with letting go of those old friendships, because like in every season of our life we have such different friendships. Like I kind of thought about it and I'm like, okay, when you're younger, like in your elementary years, you have like your sandbox buddy that you're like friends with because you spend all your time together because you're at school together. Then like you go into your teenagers and you're like friends with someone because you have the same interests. So that like changes so much. And then it's kind of like we shift so quickly into like adulthood, and especially in the Romanian community when you get married and you have a family and it happens quickly, and then you're like confused because you're like, wait, I'm married but she's not. Like for me, I got married at 21, so I was really young. I had my son when I was 23, so everything kind of happened so quick that like my friends around me were going through the same thing and they literally didn't get it. And then for me, I was like, okay, if you can't be here for me, like during these huge events, like what kind of friends are we? But now looking back, I'm like, wait, they didn't get it. Like they weren't going
hard
through
to
it.
get it. Like I'm sure you see it now. When you're not in it, like you can like kind of sense what it's gonna be like, or like, oh, maybe this is what this new mom is going through. But when you're experiencing it, it's like, oh.
Well, I remember we always used to say, like, you have your mom friends and then us.
Yeah. I'd be like, I can't wait for, like, my friends to become moms. Because, like, I have my mom group of friends. And then I had, like, you guys. Which, like, I was the only one with kids. I was married first. So, like, here I was, like, bringing along, like, my newborn. And, like, you guys are all, like, single. And just, like, you guys could just, like, oh, like, let's go here, like, now. And I'm like, hang on. What's my schedule? Like, you know, pumping, all that stuff. And it's so like, it's hard because like, I was like, I can't wait for you guys to do that. Cause it's nice to be on the same, like on the same page about it, because you really do start to understand each other and like, we can be helpful for each other on it. Like if you're struggling through something as a mom, like, so for me, I would always say that. So I'm like, I can't wait for you guys to like have kids and be moms so we can all be, you know.
Just, you understand each other on a different and on a deeper level. Yeah. Because I think like one of the biggest transitions you can go through is becoming a mom. And so when somebody else. It makes
you so like raw because you can't help it. Yeah. Your emotions are like, So absolutely. Like, when you're going through stuff and like other moms and like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going through that too. Before, like when we were single and stuff, like almost sometimes you would like hold things onto yourself because like you didn't want to like seem, you know. But the older you get, like, I don't care. This is what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. And then the fact that somebody, even if they didn't have the same experience, but they can just understand, like, oh, I get it. Like, I went through that. It's huge. And one thing I, like, want to point out, I read this while we were, like, researching. I think it's so interesting. Women tend to have face-to-face friendships and men tend to have shoulder-to-shoulder friendships. So, like, women will be like, hey, let's go out for coffee. Let's go out for lunch. Way more of like a deeper emotional connection, and then men have shoulder to shoulder, like let's go get a beer, let's go watch the game or something like that. So I think also like when you become an adult and you have less time, because women, like we connect and we have more of a fragile friendship and we connect on that emotional level, and you have less time and you're like, oh my gosh, you made time to like go out with me, like that means so much to me. So that also kind of is like a test of loyalty in a way.
That is true.
So I don't know if you guys want to kind of hit on why, and I don't know if you guys have felt this. I know I felt this in the immigrant community, why we feel stuck in friendships and why we feel like we have to stay in a friendship. And I kind of have an idea and like a theory, but I want to see what you guys say.
Mm-hmm.
Like why you feel like I can't end this friendship.
You can start.
Then people like start wondering why, because I can say that happened to me. Like they're like, "Oh, what happened between you guys? Like, you guys don't post
Everyone's
as much anymore.
in your business.
Yeah,
So,
you guys aren't hanging out as much anymore." And they're like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Nothing happened." And then it gets you thinking, like,
Did something
why?
happen?
Like, why
did I do
isn't
something? Or
And so like that happened to me. Like my sisters were like, "What happened between you guys?" I'm like, "Nothing happened. Did you hear something?" And they're like, "No, but like you guys used to hang out every day. What happened?" And it's like that was the hardest part for me. Like, wow, like we drifted apart, and like it happened so slow to like I didn't even realize it until I feel like it was not like too late, but they've already like went to a different group, and then I went to a different group, and it's just like a bittersweet. Like I know they're doing good, but like the end of us was sad.
Yeah, I get it. And I think that's a normal human emotion, and we have to like recognize and acknowledge it's okay like to grieve a friendship, but then it's also okay to be like, when I see them, like I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Like I wish the best for you. I'm happy for you. We're good. And like I respect so much all the memories we have. But like it or not, like in life, I've had this experience where like I was like really close with somebody, then we like were teenagers and like full of like drama, and we drifted apart, and then now like in our adulthood we kind of like got close again. But so much happened between those teenagers and now that we're like different people. Like we're like who, like I, even though I've known this person since I was like in diapers, we're so different.
I will say, like when we're younger, it's almost like when a friendship did end, like we're all so dramatic when we're like teenagers, and like everything that ended, it was like, oh my gosh, and like such a big thing. But like now, like as adults, you realize things don't always have to end so dramatically. Like sometimes it's just like, oh, like this is kind of what it is, and like it's okay. Like, you know, like you still love that person, you still care for them, you still think about them. Like I have friends that I always think about and stuff, and like always hope for, but it's just can't always stay the same, and that's okay. Maybe like there's always like a friend for a season sometimes. Maybe there's friends for a lifetime, but there are friends for seasons, and like maybe it's like that's what you need in that season. Maybe you needed to like help them in a season, or you know, you never know what the real reason is. I'm sure you can feel it when you're experiencing it, but I think that's why there's like the drama, and then we're adults now, and you're like, wait, it doesn't need to be hard to let go. Like let's just.
And you also don't have the energy or time to put into like that drama. Like you're just like, okay, I wish you good. I'm happy. Like we're good.
Before we like overthink everything, I don't even have time to like
overthink
like it anymore. Like why I don't know, why did they do that? Oh, it's probably for a reason. Like move on. You know, like I'm not gonna like be upset about things that I probably would have been upset with like in my younger years. I feel like that was something like a big life lesson that I learned when I first got married. My husband definitely helped toughen me up. If you guys know me
too.
If you like really knew me, I was like sensitive. Like I was just like, I would just always be so like hurt about things. I think I just like, I know what I was willing to offer in a friendship, and if I didn't get that back, I just felt so like let down.
That's something else.
I almost had to like, it kind of sounds sad, but it's realistic. You have to like lower your standards in a way.
That's exactly how I feel.
And like the cheesiest saying, like it always like stuck with me. Like I hoped for the best, but I expected the worst. So like if someone did give me something that like I would give to them, I'm like, wow, like that's really nice. But if they didn't, I'm like, maybe that's just not their strong suit. Like I'm more like that. And if they're not like that, like you understand that that's just not their personality. And that's what it is.
Well, I think that's when we were younger, because now as an older, like in your 20s, I do expect like the quality. And if another friend is like not reciprocating with what I'm like communicating, then I think we're like mature enough to be like, okay, this is actually not like, either we're not friends anymore or like we can talk about it. So I think when you're younger, people are just more crappy.
Right.
People don't care.
Right.
But when you're older, it's like, if I'm giving you my time, that means
That's also
something.
important. Yeah,
I'm sure we were kind of crappy.
we had
At some
our times.
moments, for sure.
So I feel like, I don't know if you guys would agree with me, I feel like sometimes we stay stuck in friendships because, okay, the Romanian community is so big, but it's so small, and you're always running into someone.
Always.
So, like, if I'm like, okay, shoot, if I end this friendship, like, I'm gonna see this person at the next event, like, that
Or
we're
it's,
gonna
like, a
go
little
to,
awkward.
then it's awkward. Better than going through all that. I'd rather just,
Keep
whatever.
peace
Yeah.
almost. Yeah.
So I think that, I don't know if you guys would
I
agree.
agree. I would
No,
say
but
so.
We've
true.
all had it.
Or it's like
Mhm.
we all have events and it's like, if you don't invite so-and-so, someone's going to know or ask, like, why didn't you invite that one person?
Yeah.
And then it becomes this huge thing that shouldn't have been.
I feel like it's so different than the American community.
Oh yeah.
Because, like, we see each other so much, like, or so often.
It's different.
Or
yeah.
do you feel like when you invite one person, you have to invite like another group?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of
Yeah.
like you can't just invite one from that
And
group.
then it becomes like too overwhelming. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
That's why we have big parties.
Yeah.
I'm always
It's
like,
better to keep peace.
if I have a party, I'm like, it's gonna be a small party, guys. Everyone shows up. It's like 50 people, and I'm like, well, I thought about this person. I'm always the type to like, I just like having everyone over, and like that's my time to see everyone because like, let's be real, I don't have all the time in the world. Like when you have kids and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so that's my time to like get everyone together. But yeah, I feel like it's running into them and stuff like that. How you were saying.
Well, you're gonna like, it's not like, okay, I feel like in the American community, if you're friends with someone at work and you change jobs, you don't see them
You
again.
don't see them again. And
Yeah.
something that I struggled with is if I didn't really like get along with someone anymore, like we're not really friends anymore, but I didn't like want to make it a thing or like let go of it fully or confront it, I would almost start to feel like fake.
Mm-hmm.
And not even like purposely, but like I know I'm not like this with this person anymore. Or like they hurt
You
me
feel
in
like
this
you
way.
owe them an explanation.
And I'm just like, why do I feel this way? Because like I would just want to keep the peace and be nice. But then I realized, okay, I'm not being fake. I just don't want to cause anything. Maybe it's better just to confront the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I like confronting. I
Yeah.
always did. As like scary as it is sometimes, like I just feel so much better after.
Mhm. I agree, but I also see like the different side of people who don't want to confront, because me and Adriana talked about this. A lot of girls are like, I feel like a majority of girls tend to be more emotional. Like you and I are not like that. We're more logical. But then it's like, if I have this discussion with them, they're going to start crying. They're going to see that I'm not crying. They're going to think I don't care.
Yeah.
Now it's this big thing. Now I'm a jerk because I'm not crying.
Mhm.
So then some people might be like in their head, it's better for me not to even have this discussion.
Yeah, that is
Especially
true.
with girls, I feel like it's just different. They
That's how
play
I
that
am.
guilt
Or,
card.
like, I'm like, oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should have said this.
Yeah.
And then like you just like leave
Yeah.
and it's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
I don't cry in front of people. I cry at home by myself.
Aw.
So nobody thinks that like someone probably thinks I'm being like cold or something, but like when I go home I'm like sitting and crying about it. I'm like, I'm still emotional. I try my best to
That's
be
not
strong,
bad.
but I mean it feels good to let out a good cry sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. So, what do you girls feel like are signs that you're in a toxic friendship? Or what would you say are signs for you?
For me, I would say I'm kind of a more of like an anxious person. If someone is like negative or all that stuff, like I feel it and I start to get really anxious and it really affects me.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'll literally just like catch myself like taking deep breaths, thinking about something about this person or something.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's when I'll start to notice like, okay, like wait, why am I reacting this way? Or like, let me sit and like evaluate the situation right now, like what's going on. And then like I'm more hopeful.
Mhm.
I'm always like, no, like
You
try to,
always give people the benefit
I
of the
always
doubt.
give people the benefit of the doubt. And like my husband's more like logical. He's like, okay, let's be real.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, like let's just give him a 100th chance. So like I learned to like kind of like have my boundaries with that, but it did teach me to like sit and reevaluate like why am I feeling like no peace about it, or like even you told me this recently, if something's like on my mind, like I just can't shut up about it.
Mhm.
And then like if I fix that situation, like I don't even remember that I was talking about it last week.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I was talking about
That's
that. a
good
lot.
that you talk through it though. That's
It helps me, I think, because like at home, I'm not gonna tell my husband about that. Like
yeah.
Guys don't
they
get it.
they don't really like get it, and like I'm like busy with the kids, and like making dinner, I'm like cleaning, and if we talk about things, it's like things about me and him, or like
Okay,
our life.
guys
you
are
know?
different.
Yeah.
Because I think all our husbands are the same. When we complain about something, they'll just be like,
Stop being their friend.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Stop being yelled
They're
at.
like really logical about it.
Well, they also can't listen and just listen. They have to offer a solution. And I'm like, no, I want you to just listen and not say anything. Like,
Husbands have a meme about this. Like when your husband gives you logical like think for your problem and you're just like annoyed. Oh, why are you even saying that? I
never told you.
Yeah, I'd rather just wait and vent to my friends about it later.
So just feeling like somebody has a negative energy.
I just feel it. Like I feel anxious. I feel like I have to start overthinking, and I don't like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's when I sense that something's off.
Mm-hmm.
And
like when it's just not natural anymore.
Yeah, when it's not natural. And then I also listen to like people around me too, like people that I know can give me like good insight, like my husband or like someone in my family. And if like they say something or they notice something too, I'm like, okay, it's not just in my head. Maybe this is a thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's I feel like usually what helps me. I don't remember the last time I had like a toxic friend. I feel like it's been a while. And to this day, like I won't really even say it was toxic because I still like benefited the doubt. Like I love her. She was such a good friend. She was so good. But like when you like sit and like really look at like what happened, I'm like, okay, yeah.
But you still want to.
But like I just, you know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
She's too nice.
Yeah.
You're
so different than Adriana. You guys are such opposites. No, you're nice too, but you're more straight up than Michelle.
Yeah.
In some ways, yeah.
No, you are, because you like, just why are you their friends? And I'm like, because you have to.
So Alice, where do you fall on the spectrum?
I don't think I've ever had like a toxic relationship, but I don't know if this plays into factor. If anything, I'm an Enneagram 2.
Okay.
And my love language is acts of service. Mm-hmm. And so I like to give acts of service to the point where I do it out of joy, and to where I think I've had friends use that and kind of just use
like take advantage
of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that's the only like toxic
So
thing.
if they don't go if you go halfway and they don't come halfway, that's a toxic thing.
Kind of.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's completely reasonable. That's one of my...
If you're doing something, you should, in a sense, expect it back.
Right. But also I understand there's like seasons. So I'm like looking at the whole situation. I'm like, okay, they're going through a tough time. But if it's a pattern of I'm always going and you're never coming, then what's the point of this?
For sure, like noticing that pattern. Because like you have to give grace to people sometimes, obviously, if they're like going through something. But like, you're like, wait, it's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm always there for you, but you're never there for me. Like what's up with this?
Yeah. I think you should benefit, like both parties should benefit of the friendship or like any relationship.
Yeah.
I know everyone's saying like, oh, I haven't had toxic friends. I don't. Not that I do. I've come across definitely people that, let's just say they have red flags. If that's a nicer way to put it. And again, now looking back, it was more like my early 20s, but I think that's when everyone's just like
finding themselves.
There's drama. We're all single. We like guys. Like it's just so much is gonna happen. My biggest thing, and I realize now, also being pregnant, like when you're getting married, I remember everyone's like, you find your true friends when you get married. Like you will know who the real ones are. And I'm like, what does that mean? And then I realized during my engagement, during the wedding, like I realized what friends were there helping me and actually being there for me, that like made it out to my bachelorette trip and like was there for me and celebrated and were like happy for me. And then also being pregnant, I'm not going to expect everyone to like do everything for me, but just even like a quick check-in. I'm just like, wow, they're thinking about me.
So that's that's huge,
nice.
Because
so red flag is when they're not doing anything of that. I had a friend who we're really close, and she just didn't come to like my bridal shower, my engagement, or wedding, and then was telling me she's coming, and I was just like, to this day I'm confused. But I'm like, I wasn't gonna confront her because I'm like, is it really worth it? And I kind of looked at her friendship.
That's more like a personality trait for some people.
Well, sometimes no answer is an answer.
Yeah,
that is true. That's not showing up is an answer.
I looked into it and I was like, it's not even worth asking, because honestly at that point I didn't care anymore. I was just like, that feels awkward to me to also ask someone like, why didn't you make it? So I feel like I think of that. And then another thing that I always now look back and I'm like, how did I not see that as a red flag, is when one of your friends like talk bad about you to other friends that you're all friends with, and you're like, I'm gonna hear it from another friend. So that was also weird. and when they would like kind of make fun of you in front of big groups. And it was like funny and sarcastic, but then I'm like, wait, why are they putting me down in front of people that like, first off, even like I didn't know them, or if I knew them, I'm like, this is so awkward for me because I don't know, it's just like no one wants to be made fun of, especially if a friend's doing that. So I feel like those were
That's
definitely
really
red
good
flags
stuff you brought up. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I guess you bringing that up made me realize maybe I did have some toxic people. Well, it's been so long, I haven't thought about it. It's been like, when was it? Like over 10 years ago. So for me, like that just went over my head.
Benefit of the doubt.
I also think it's like when someone's talking bad about you and like as your friend, I'll be like, no, that's not true. And then that person will come and be like, hey, I heard this about you. I'm like, what'd you say? And they're like, I didn't say anything. How am I supposed to know if it's true? And I'm like,
yeah.
If you were
because
my
I'm your friend,
even if you know it's true.
I didn't defend me.
Yeah. You should know my character if you're one of my friends.
And so I remember that happened a lot to me. And I'm like, even if it's true and it's bad, you say no.
Yeah, loyalty. Like you said, you value that.
Well, yeah, like they have your back, and you would act the same in that situation of like having their back. So when you start seeing like those like signs of them not doing that, it's like, okay, are they really my friend, or are they like, you kind of said it could be a personality thing, but
it's not an excuse though.
Yeah.
Like some people just like, that's how they are. Doesn't mean it's okay, but like you kind of expect that from them. And then that just kind of answers your question. Like, are they like a true friend? Like, do they really care? Like, obviously there's those people that like you click, you get along, but like, what else is there? Not much.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just have that, like, that's what it is.
Mutual understanding, yeah. I also feel like society has made us really lazy friends. Like, not us, but people in general. I'm not calling you guys out. No, just like people in general. Because, okay, technology, all we have to do is like, ooh, give a like, give a comment, give a heart. Now, I'm like, you literally can't even like call me or text me to like, I'm always calling you, I'm always something, and you can't call or text me. Like, that's literally costs nothing and like a minute of your time. So I feel like that too is like, are you really my friend? Like, friendship takes sacrifice. It's a relationship. It's putting time and effort into something, just like your marriage would be, for example.
Yeah, that is true.